I'm sitting down. You sit.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the third week. The third week of Black Gold. Woo! Yes, let's clap it up. Clap it up for Black Gold. For yourself, coming out in this heat. It's hot. It's hot. It took me a minute. I'm so glad that you're here in person, and we're glad that you're joining us virtually. This series, I don't know about you all. Have you enjoyed it? Yeah. It's been more than I could have ever imagined. Like, it literally has given me life, right? So I just want to recap last week. I almost went to teacher mode and said, who remembers what we talked about last week? Yes. If you missed last week, you missed a treat. We had Vanessa Komara, the founder and president of Komara Marketing, and she kept it all the way 100 with us. And she blessed us with her awesome authenticity and left us feeling ready to conquer the world. That's how I felt. What about you? It was so refreshing to be able to have a real conversation. And it just was amazing to hear about the female side of Black Wall Street, because we always hear about the male pioneers. So she talked about one of the female pioneers, and my guest today, my people guest, Latoya Rose of Rose Tax Solutions, is going to talk about another one of those female pioneers. So I don't know if I mentioned this, but I am the Camp 2 coordinator here at 36 Degrees North. And this series is proudly brought to you by it's probably brought to you by Greenwood Cultural Center and 36 Degrees North. The Greenwood Cultural Center serves as a marker for the Tulsa community, chronicling where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. Through historical offerings, events, and youth programming, its mission is promoting, preserving, and celebrating African American culture and heritage. Now, 36 Degrees North is Tulsa's base camp for entrepreneurs. Our goal is to have our membership look like the city of Tulsa. We want a diverse and inclusive membership, and we are here to serve entrepreneurs who want to make sure that we help them get everything that they need to be wildly successful. We do this by providing inspiring workspace, a tight-knit community, and resources to get entrepreneurs to the next step in their journey. So that is a little bit about me, but as I just said, I'm not here by myself. I've got my niece in the building. Hey, Auntie, Latoya Rose. So why Black Gold? Well, it was a play on words. Black gold is oil, right? And we know that this region, this state was known for oil, and also to give a nod to the innovation of Black Wall Street and just the value that's in the entrepreneurship that came out of that time. Let's see. So the first week, but with Black Gold, we are highlighting some of the amazing stories of the people who built Black Wall Street in Greenwood and tying their stories to the stories of some of Tulsa's best and brightest modern-day entrepreneurs. The first week, we highlighted a few of the entrepreneurs who led the way, including O.W. Gurley, who is considered to be the founder of Black Wall Street, J.B. Stratford, and A.C. Jackson. A.C. Jackson was known as the most able Negro physician there was, and J.B. Stratford was amazing as well. Not being for J.B. Stratford. He Stratford Hotel. He sure did. Okay, so like I mentioned last week, we talked about the more feminine side of things and brought in the story of Lula Williams, who was the owner of the Dreamland Theater. And I actually learned that, and I'll be honest with y'all, I learned that from you. Remember we had that first conversation? And you mentioned that people think that her husband did it, but it was actually hers.
Exactly. So, sidebar, right? I think a lot of times when we think about history, we always think about men. And so it was funny whenever people tapped into me and was like, can you change your person from Lula and pick somebody else? And I was like, okay, I mean, there's plenty of other women. And it came to my attention when I went to the Greenwood Art Gallery. They actually have a room right now where it's nothing but the women of Greenwood, from the original, also the rebuild, and then like current day. And so Lula Williams was actually the driving force as related to her and her husband. Like, she had the entrepreneurial mindset. She knew that in order for them to build wealth, they need to have multiple businesses. So her husband was a mechanic. She actually, where the Oklahoma Eagle is, that's his garage. You'll also see on Greenwood, when you guys come out It's Juneteenth this weekend, so you gotta come to Greenwood Avenue.
You all in my notes, you know my notes.
Oh, I'm in your notes? Okay, my bad. Okay. So there's a 3-story building, like literally across the street. So I look at this building every single day. So I'm inspired by Lula Williams every single day. And I am driven off the fact that I am a current woman in business on Greenwood, and that's what keeps me fueled. So yeah, Lula Williams, and there's gonna be some others that you'll learn about. So make sure you guys go to the gallery and check out that exhibit. That's amazing.
Thank you for bringing that out. So we talked about the female's perspective, and that was huge because let's remember, and we all remember, as Latoya just said, that slavery was abolished January 31st, 1865, right? But slaves in the South, specifically Texas, didn't hear about it until June 19th of that same year, June 19th, 1865, which is where Juneteenth comes from. Just a little history note that you didn't know. So just a little bit of that Juneteenth, short for June 19th, marks the day when federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, to take control of the state and ensure that all enslaved people be freed. The troops' arrival came a full 2.5 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. Juneteenth honors the end of slavery in the United States and is considered, did y'all know this, the longest running African American holiday.
That in 2021 is finally being recognized as a national holiday. So let's clap that. Another national holiday, another break. Come on, PTO. That's all I'm saying. All right, y'all welcome. Right, that's it.
So tonight, as you see, we have another mighty female entrepreneur, and I'm about to spill the tea that she let me have. You can have it. Okay, so Latoya Rose is, you like how my voice changed? I don't know why I did that. Okay. Latoya Rose, Tulsa native and owner of Rose Tax Solution, is a third-generation Black Wall Street entrepreneur committed to excellence. As a senior tax accountant, public speaker, author, event producer, and mother, Ms. Rose has a mission to promote global economic justice by helping individuals and businesses implement proven strategies to monetize their genius while sustaining consistent momentum in the marketplace. Latoya Rose has been providing tax and accounting solutions since spring of 2003. Latoya Rose holds her Bachelor's of Science in Health Administration from Langston University, LU. Gotta say that, my mom will probably disown LU, right? And a Master's of Special Education from North Carolina Central University. In 2017, Rose Tax Solutions opened its doors on historic Greenwood Avenue as a thriving boutique tax firm specializing in individual, small business, and corporate tax returns. Each year, the firm hosts a signature business and economic stimulus event called the Black Wall Street Exchange to connect the community with viable merchants. Latoya Rose's personal philosophy is, I love this, you do not have time to waste, you only have time to execute. Latoya Rose enjoys cooking, at my house all the time. Yeah. Community outreach, traveling, and attending live shows with her daughter, Greatness Elizabeth Rose. Latoya plays, I don't know this, the alto saxophone. Is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and is known for her contagious energy and passion for life. Yes. So, without further ado, Latoya, it's all
Man, it's hard to like hear somebody read to you when you typed up to send them to read about you. So thank you. It really made me feel, and I realized just how much I've accomplished in life. You know, I'm 35 years old, I'm 35. To be exact, 35. Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. So yeah, I mean, like the title says, I'm Latoya Rose. I'm a small business owner in Tulsa, from Tulsa. Been gone actually for 13 years before we moved back home. Moved back home accidentally, you know. So I thought, but it's been amazing the last 4 years now. Just being able to have my firm, grow the firm. Currently we're expanding, hiring folks, you know. profit margins, like doing right. So yeah, getting down into the trenches and doing the work. You know, that's is actually doing the work. Where's your mind? Oh, that came in over there. Yeah, so sidebar, I call her auntie, okay? So if at any point she calls me Niecy, or I call her auntie, you'll understand where they come from. All right. Okay.
So we want to know more about the Black Wall Street exchange. We didn't know about the Black Wall Street exchange. Tell us about that, because I remember I went to that last year.
Yes, you were awesome, representing your company that you work with. First of all, sidebar, Next Gen Services is amazing. Has been a founding merchant of the Black Wall Street Exchange. And so basically what the Black Wall Street Exchange is an annual event, a demonstration per se. Throughout the year, we have various merchants and partnerships that we do business development, and then they all come together and put on this event to show what it looks like to circulate the dollar. So a lot of what you've been seeing prior to 2019 when we first launched the Black Wall Street Exchange, you did see, various circulations, vendors, different of that nature. I think when we launched, it was more or less wanting people to understand that even if you're what you consider a seasonal business or you're just trying something out, like, we wanted to make sure that people had the training and confidence so that they could actually see success at that event and continue to grow throughout the year. So we actually accomplished that in 2019. We had 21 actual merchants. We had various creatives who current day are like up for Grammys and different things of that nature through like Fire in Little Africa, the 1921 Music Group. So the Black Wall Street Exchange really for me, it was 12 years coming, launching it and bringing it to the city. I believe just really kind of 10X and let all other special event producers and promoters understand that like Tulsa was ready for that next level. I lived in Atlanta, DC, Northern Virginia, so just to be able to kind of bring some of the things that I experienced when it came to having a conference, a networking event, a concert, a trade show. That's what the exchange is, bringing all of that together to connect, circulate the dollars. It really just means.
I really enjoyed myself there. It was amazing. I love how you started off with the band coming through there.
Oh yes, you know why? Because Wall Street starts with a bell. That's when you know the market is open. So we start with the bass drum. You hear the bass drum coming. You know it's time to bring your wallet out and circulate, just enjoy it's really a vibe. You know, that's the feedback that we always get every year. The pandemic kind of cut us short this last year, but it also gave us the opportunity to get creative. So I'm really excited whenever we do host this next one, actually on Martin Luther King Day. It'll look a little different, but it'll still be around excellence as it relates to minorities.
Awesome. So Martin Luther King Day is a special day for me. My daughter was born on Martin Luther King Day.
Oh, the miracle baby.
Yes, oh baby. So the dollar and Black Wall Street circulated 34 or 36 times. I think it was something over.
I mean, you have to think about it. In what we know as Black Wall Street, okay, 1905 through 1921, and highway came. So when you think about the original, where you had a community of people, right, really Black people, that were forced to have to only buy from each other. You're the only one I could buy from, really. Then we had no choice but for our dollar to be very strong. Now, current day, the market, right, or the power of the Black dollar is still the majority. But many don't understand that or understand what it even really looks like without having, I say, conversations around money and how to use it as a tool. Because if you think about it, our community, current day, Black community, maybe 30 minutes, the Black dollar stays in a Black, ecosystem, is what I like to call it. So when you think about how can I give back, then you look at Black businesses, Black merchants, not just people that have storefronts, but also people who maybe, street vendors or anything of that nature.
They make t-shirts.
Oh yeah. Listen, the t-shirts, okay? Because I got this. Let me see how I got this shirt right quick, y'all. I was on Facebook, right? And someone did a post. Now this is genius marketing, so you can please take this free game. And she said, I want to thank everyone who pre-ordered your Juneteenth shirt. And she showed this design. Now, if you look at my shirt, right? By the way, these bell bottoms are from Habit Boutique. Shout out to Black business. Thank you. You're welcome. Right? So it said Juneteenth, right? And it says free-ish. And I'm thinking, yes, that's exactly how I feel right now in 2021. I feel free-ish. But the marketing part was, everyone was like, what do you mean pre-order? You didn't tell me to pre-order, right? She has over 5,000 brands. So everyone does what at that point? Floods her and buys the cash out to get the shirt. So we all simulated her, but she got her shirt printed from a Black company, right? And then she does a lot of patronizing after with too. So it was like a no-brainer. If I see that you patronize small business or within my community, you have a business, I'm coming to give it to you and buy your business because I know it's going to circulate back into my community. It's important because no one's giving out handouts, number one, right? And when you think about property taxes, you think about crime, creating jobs, like we could do that. The Black community can very well do that when it mobilizes its resources and actually has a game plan to stimulate their ecosystem.
That's good. That's good. And I'm glad you brought up your t-shirt and your pants.
Yes.
I'm gonna do a shameless plug myself.
Go ahead.
So if you follow me on Instagram, then you know that I put the first week's t-shirt on there, the second week's t-shirt, and I told you to guess who was gonna be the t-shirt person for this week. So the t-shirt I have on is not gonna stand up. That's how I
You see your shoes in the bottom too.
Listen, I'll tell you about them in a minute. Okay. So this t-shirt came from Derek Howard of Fashionable Gear, and he is a local company. He's a local business owner, a local Black entrepreneur. And I made it. It was very important for me to do what you said, to make sure that when we get up here and we talk about Black entrepreneurship, that I'm actually walking the talk, not just saying, oh, I want to support. So Derek Howard, you always do an amazing job. If you don't know who he is, go to fashionablegear.com and you can find t-shirts, you can find sweatshirts, hoodies, whatever you need. Now, so you plug it. I'm
Plug it all.
These earrings are from K. Nicole Boutique, which she did the t-shirt that I had on last week. All right, these shoes, come on, shoes. Nobody's gonna be able to get these shoes.
It has a shoe cam. Shoe cam.
Okay, so these shoes are one. My cousin, who's a local artist, his name is Darren Walker. He's with No Parking Studios. I told him, I said, hey, cousin, I want to go to the sneaker ball. I went to the sneaker ball came, and I said, I want to have the dopest shoes in the room. I said, I'm buying these shoes. I bought the shoes. I was like, Fab, what is it, just Fab? Just Fab, $10. $10 shoes. Yeah, they were $10. So then they were white. They started off white, all white. And he brought them back, and they looked like this. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So every chance I get, I want to plug him because he's mad talented. He's mad talented. And so are the other artists there at No Parking Studios, and they are from Tulsa. So I love that. I love art. I love supporting my peeps.
And your shoes are like an example of why it's okay for us with kids who are artsy, for us to really like let them be artsy. And maybe they don't want to learn business. Maybe they don't want to go to college. You do the hard part, but let your kid go out here and become like a millionaire. Because these shoes, I remember when you first got done, they were like, they're still amazing, but they just popped. It was beautiful. And I thought, man, he could sell that. Like that as a service, like customizing shoes. You know what I mean? That's a service that somebody can make money off of, no matter how old. Okay, that's my part.
That's good. I'm glad you brought that up because I think for a long time, I was thinking I had to have a certain thing, maybe a certain degree or a certain level of education or a certain something so that I could be an entrepreneur, right? And it's that simple. I have a talent. I want to make these shoes. People need shoes. You can do it. You're an entrepreneur. If you learn how to sell them, you might not have the wherewithal to make it an app or make it tech enabled, but somebody knows how to do it. Right. So that's the power of partnership. That's the power of community, which we bring and provide here at 36 Degrees North. Right. Community is so important. So we have just kind of gone off cut, but I like this. I like this.
You said conversation. Yeah. Okay.
Like, we just gonna have a bullet point notes. So why do you come back to talk? Why do you think that you're here?
Ooh, why am I? I hope I don't get too deep with this. I believe I'm here. Okay, don't make me cry. You ready to see that? Okay, I'm really trying not to get too deep. I'm almost about to cry. Just thinking about how deep this can go, friend. Okay. I'm here in Tulsa, I believe, because I'm supposed to be in Tulsa right now. I believe that I was ready to come back home and actually contribute to the good needed in Tulsa. And as well, I think coming back home has really helped me grow in a sense of embracing who I am as a woman. Just kind of all the trials and tribulations. I lived in Atlanta, found myself there, I almost got lost, but found myself again. Then I left, right? Gray head on my shoulder, want to go to Northern Virginia, homeless, helping people, placing people, getting them in houses, getting them in their house, getting in my car, driving to a parking garage, speeding homeless, okay? From that point, realizing, like begging my mother and convincing her, give me 90 days. If in 90 days I don't make no money following my dreams, doing what I do, speaking, whatever, I promise you I'll go get a job and I will never talk about purpose again. To get back to Tulsa, visiting, right? Visiting, thinking that a career in media in LA was about to be my reality, only to go to say goodbye to my uncle, and he has cancer, literally coming out of his neck. And saying to myself, I'm an entrepreneur, tax season is over, I'm virtual, like 100% of my business was virtual. I can stay here and be with my uncle until his dying day. And that's exactly what I did. Right? In the midst of that, I'm not pregnant. Hello. And gave birth to my daughter after, he passed. But through that, when I conceived my daughter, I believe that the same freedom, that time freedom that I had being an entrepreneur to be able to be here with my uncle, I conceived my daughter and told my family, and for some of the backlash and to be told like I would have to quit following my dreams and go find a job to take care of my child so that my child can have a good life. And I knew that is not how my child is going to be stable, single parent or not. And I knew I wanted to be for my child, regardless of anything. I wanted to be to her or him, because I didn't know, it's girl. I wanted to be that example because, I felt like a lot of people are inspired by me, but I felt that some of y'all just be listening and taking notes and y'all wasn't applying them. So then God gave me the baby, right? So I have this child now that I had to not be afraid, put fear aside, realize that it was false evidence appearing real. I had to realize and really dig deep and say, okay, what am I good at no matter what? Like, what can I right now go make money to do no matter what? And still be in my purpose. Make money, family will be fine, I can have this baby and everything. And so I cashed out my 401. I'm going to tell y'all not to do that. When you're like really chasing purpose, you know you're on the right track, right? And in that, I'm so happy that I stayed diligent. I'm glad that I built out Rose Tax Solutions. Yesterday, we made history with my daughter. She is now the owner, or I created a business called Lula Co. Inspired, really, it came together because Louise is my grandmother. That's also my daughter's middle name, and I'm Latoya. But whenever I really got down to who are the founders of Black Wall Street, and I saw Lula's name, I thought this will be perfect. And so, like, literally, the intent is to create different passive income streams to help build generational wealth for her and to do things because I don't really have time to do anything. I need passive things. And so we're able to partner with an entrepreneur other merchants that we're gonna partner with in North Tulsa, her first ATM yesterday. And she's 3 years old. Yeah. And that really came from fasting and praying for the last 6 months, and in the last 2 weeks, now this is funny. I woke up on a Friday morning, on a Thursday morning, went to the shower. I don't know, the shower where I have epiphanies, okay? And someone was like, you need an ATM. And I was like, man, I don't have enough money to get an ATM. You know, like, I didn't think I needed this. So then, the next day to go to a summit that our Greenwood Chamber put on. And there was a man there, y'all, and he had so much confidence. I love him, you know, he's my frat brother and everything he had, but he kept talking about money, and the way he was saying it, I was like, man, he's not cocky though. He was really being honest. He said, listen, I have passive income. He said, I have 5 ATMs. I shook the man's hand and I said, we got done. I said, hey, I had an epiphany that I'm gonna have an ATM business. Now please have your information. You mind if I call you? Unfortunately, I had to call him there because like everything just started going really fast. And someone posted on Facebook the following Monday, we need a ATM. I don't know about you. Have you ever had an idea and then like you say it out loud? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I don't know. Don't make her lie. You are no. But have you ever had an idea, right? And you say it out loud, you think about it, but you don't move on it, but then you start seeing other people doing your idea. And all I could think was, if I don't do this, if I don't really go and call and figure out how much does it cost to have an ATM, how much do I just have to start off with, right? And then looking at the fact that, okay, the business at a point, Latoya, it's paying you a salary now. You have the money, plus you're a teacher, you have the money to go do this. But then realizing I couldn't do it for myself, because if I did it for myself, guess what? We wouldn't have an ATM right now in Brentwood. I had to think outside of myself and say, this is for her. This is for her. This is to make sure, because I don't get child support and don't have a passport, ain't caring about it, right? But yet she still needs a way. I mean, an extra $500 a month. Your parents, when you turned 18, was like, man, we putting this $500 a month to the side for you. You know? So yeah. I forgot the first question, but I hope I answered it.
I forgot it too. But no, when you talk about looking into there are a lot of rich things. One thing that you brought out and is so key is becoming a mother was what did it for me as well. Because I've had ideas since I was a child, and I just wrote them in a book. And I thought, oh, okay, this is great. This will be something one day. But whenever Asha was born, Asha is sacred for hope. And her middle name is Elise, which means pledge to God. So first thing, I haven't mentioned to you all that I published my first book last September. Thanks for the Joseph's Ministry and my friend Megan. She's an amazing sister of mine and publisher. So I published my memoir about my journey to motherhood, which was not easy. It was 7 years long, and it contained 4 miscarriages, so it's hard. So when Asha was born, I had an epiphany, and I said, I do not want this baby to see me going to work every day, miserable, just because I need to pay bills. The best way to be an example, it's all right. Come on, get it out your belly. You know, you can't be what you don't see. That part, right? So, and you all right with us. So there's something in me, and you mentioned greatness. There's something in me whenever I had Asha that was like, nope, you are going to do it. And one time I was talking to my best friend, and I was just like, really down. Like, man, this is hard. Like, and she said, you literally gave birth to hope. Have hope. She's like, there's no way that you can possibly not have hope. And every day, my cousin got me this whenever I had Asha. It says hope on it. I wear it every day because hope is so key. And I believe it's the only thing that got me where I am. But I'm going back to having a child does something for you. And doing it for her because I want to leave that legacy is what did it for me too. So we share that in common. Now, do you think that people on Black Wall Street were thinking about that? Do you think they were thinking about, I really, in my head, I know the answer because it was like you said, a necessity. They had to do what they had to do. They had to eat, they had to, well,
and you gotta understand too, back in the day, you had multiple people doing the same things, and you had young people, it was community, you know, and I believe even now, even with my daughter, and we have another daughter Greenwood, we got Legacy Bailey, she's on Greenwood as well. And her mother is an Asha's dance teacher. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's big, yeah. And so you have these children, and they don't really initially if they're not known, right? Because you as a parent, did you do? Oh, okay. And so then I gotta pay bills, the kid grows, it's like you buy these shoes and then like 2 weeks later, they don't fit anymore. Right? And so, for me, I was also a teacher, and literally last pandemic, I went, my grandmother was passing, and I was feeling like, well, let me just go get a job. Let me go do this for real, and then I'll be back to the business. Which was a horrible mistake, but I needed that time too. I needed that time. I lost my train of thought, y'all. I don't even know. Oh, I was asking, do you think that the people on Black Wall Street? Oh, you said there were multiple people doing the same thing. Right. So yeah, I mean, there were multiple people doing the same thing. Greenwood is a community situation. So whenever I had the opportunity, or anytime I had the opportunity with my to bring her to the office, let her kind of be there and see what that's all about. The different merchants, they would come, like Miss Angela next door. I have 2 Angelas now, but Miss Angela at Frio, she would bring her a popsicle. Miss Gina, she would, just talk to her. Glory, the girls at the restaurant, they feed her. So it's like this big community. You have her pawpaw across the street, and she gets to go and see. But now at school, whenever they're playing, like she's always the boss or cashier. She's the one that's kind of the leader, keeping everybody involved. So I think for her to see it on Greenwood, seeing these people waking up, doing what they gotta do, staying with me overnight, watching me go from me scrubbing floors and the tables and getting everything together. So now we got a lady that does that. Now the baby, so go from having a nurse in the office to you don't have a nurse in the office anymore because we're hiring. You know what I mean? Like she's seen that growth, and I think that's what everyone has to see, but especially kids. They got to see the example. That's so true. So what did you pick for the Black Wall Street? Okay, so many to choose from, but I knew I wanted to do a woman. I did Mabel B. Little, and the reason, so this is her before she passed. She is an entrepreneur survivor of Black Wall Street. If you come to the Greenwood Cultural Center, there's a house. There's a house. That's maybe Little House. And so why I really chose her, one of the foods already but I chose her because she acquired everything that I always wanted. One, Madam C.J. Walker has always been my driving force. So anytime someone says, who inspires you? And everybody's like, my mom, my dad, in school. I was like, Madam C.J. Walker. Madam C.J. Walker. So she got her hair license and things with Madam C.J. Walker. She came to Tulsa on $1.75. I remember when I first started in adulthood, I had $50 from an unemployment check and a Greyhound ticket and 2 duffel bags when I just got back from Africa, but I knew it was like time to leave Oklahoma. But I love her because growing up, we used to have workshops and dedicated workshops in her house. And so as the story has been told of the massacre, more stories are being told about the beginning, like pre-massacre, so that we can actually get to know people and humanize it more than just making this horrible event that you don't want to talk about, you know what I mean? So I chose her because she still has a standing picture that you are able to experience. I chose her because we have a lot in common as far as, being okay with traveling and starting new on little bit of nothing and actually making it something. So that's why I chose her. That's good. So you said being able to work on a little bit of nothing. Any entrepreneur here knows that sometimes you work on a little bit of nothing. And you like, so that's talking no more noodles. Right. I'm fasting because I just don't have the money. Accidentally, I'm break through like Jonah. Yeah. Woo, all of that. Yeah. And one last little fact, she got her honorary degree from Langston University at age 94. So,
Wow.
so it's never too late. So you think about people's stories and their journeys, right? And even like I have, myself and everyone you watch through this series, you're taking little things and you're like, what's my excuse? I hope that's what you're saying as you're sitting there. I hope that you're, being inspired, but also saying to yourself, what's my excuse? So that when you leave out the series, once Black Gold is done, you can be a part of that Black Gold and be something great. Well, we hope Black Gold is never done. Just the 3 parts. One series. That's how keep going. Yeah.
So, all those people who are putting those pennies, rubbing them together, those challenges, people who are sleeping on couches, the people who are cashing out 401k, people who family are like, okay, we gave you money last month. What are you going to do? Encourage those people. Why should they continue?
Well, first of all, you want to continue because you don't want to go work for anybody. I don't know about you, but in my brain, I have to work for someone. If I have to work for you, I don't know how long I'm going to be there. Really, it's a part of the process. Like I didn't really want to hire nobody, but I wanted to hire somebody. I knew I needed help. Then I started like reading things. Then I thought to myself, I don't have time to read about human resources. I should hire someone, right, to do that for me. In the room, too. Now, how did I find this person? I found this person from another consultant, a person who is a driving force also just like I am. So I trusted. Now, initially, I was like, I'm going to be black. No, and she was like, no. I was like, it's kind of regrets what I'm trying to do, right? But I had to say to myself, but no one, right now I'm in a season where I'm ready to move forward. And if it's not aligning that way, I got to move forward, right? So even though you may be on your last 2 pennies, negative bank account, whatever, like the fact that you're on 2 pennies and negative bank account, that should drive you. And you should realize the reason why you're on your last 2 pennies in a negative bank account is because you have not hired professional help. You have not let people be in their ministry, freeing up your time, freeing up your worries, you know what I mean? So you can be compliant. Like Katie Wade, shameless plug, that's Katie, right? So Katie got me all together and getting me together when it comes to human resource. But it's necessary. As much as we say we are small Black-owned businesses, women-owned business, you don't want to be small forever. And you have to allow people in your create a community that's strong enough so you can expand. People may not always look like you. Right? So even though you're on your last 2 pennies negative in your bank account, if help comes to you and it doesn't look like you cannot be so like, oh no, I'm back, no. We have to come together.
So real.
Yeah.
Because it's not about the skin color, right? Right. So we don't get it. Like we're being real. So you want to support Black. You want to have, Black owned. But sometimes, okay, now I'm gonna say this. Okay, I'm gonna look at the camera. I ain't gonna look at the camera. Yeah, I'm gonna look at the camera. Now, we can look alike, but I need you to still treat me as though I am paying you. You have to respect my dollar. I want to support you. However, frankly, brother and sister, and body, no, we still have to have a level of decorum, even though we're looking the same. And I think, I don't know about anybody else's community here, but sometimes we in our community will either halfway do it or will kind of, give the red carpet, white glove treatment. And really, what hurts Black businesses, and I had to find this the hard way, so I'm telling on myself, nobody else will get booked, I'm getting booked today, where I did that. I would see people that knew me or looked like me and kind of just, I tried service, but I was kind of, then I realized because I had somebody say, well, I'm not paying you that. I'm not paying you that. And I had to work through it, but I realized why they didn't pay me. They didn't want to pay me, even though that, industry standard pricing and I could get invoices regardless of whatever. But it gave me the opportunity to really check myself too, to say, okay, Latoya,
you didn't deserve it. Like you didn't provide them with, I call it stranger service. You said customer service, stranger service. Like treat me like a stranger. Be on your best behavior. You do not know. Show up on time. I tell my people, honey, no, you don't know me. I went to school with you. I know, but I'm your boss. Like I cut your check. I need you to just give me stranger service because I need you to get on time. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy that you do it. But I wanted to talk too. Thank you for sharing. I wanted to talk too about, not pushing people out because they don't look like you. Oh, you can't, right? Because it's so important. I mean, it's not about really your skin color. Not anymore. No. Because, we live in a world where we have to get along with each other. You can want to look out for your own. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, that we have to still do. We have to be able to correct each other in love and all of that. However, you also have to be a small business, a Black business that is able, with integrity, with excellence, to serve all people. You want to have a very diverse clientele because money is free. Come on, somebody. Don't ain't green. That ain't green, ain't it? And crypto is gold. I just know crypto, like a piece of cryptocurrency, ever it became something, it would probably be gold. I don't know. But that's the tool that you need. And in human capital, in order to make your money work, you have to have people that believe in you, not just to buy, but also to be the people that's gonna duplicate you, who are gonna franchise your idea, your vision, and own it like their own. Like that's what you're looking for. And sometimes, most times, actually, you're not gonna look like you. And duplicate you. So first, you might be duplicatable, right? Yeah. If you're not professional, if you're not excellent, listen, I don't care what color you are. I align myself with excellence. So if you're excellent, then we can rock. But if not, then it's okay. Yeah. But I just want to do business with you, right? So we didn't have a woman. Have you guys been enjoying it? Yes. Do we have any questions for you? Or comments? Or money. We do. Listen, we will take a while. I will find somebody that can trust me. Everywhere I go, I always do it. Right. Yes. Oh, now you're gonna make me cry, Crystal. The question is, no worries. The question is, why did I name my daughter Grace? Funny story. When I was homeless and I got started in digital marketing. Okay, wait. Did y'all hear that? When you were what? I was homeless and got started in digital marketing. Right, my business online. I had this thing called Manifest. What is it? Manifest Greatness Morning, something like MGM. And so for about 30 days, 60 days, every morning we just do these little talks on Periscope, the little hearts and flies. Yeah, I love Periscope, man. I went from no hearts and just kind of there to a heart here and there. People were so dedicated to it. But I was homeless. And so when I found out that I was conceiving in a child, because my daughter's my miracle baby. They told me I could not bear children, okay? In my 20s, that's another story. Say that. So I named her Greatness because when I first got back to Tulsa, we were working on the Hope House number 2, with a not-for-profit. And I kept, one day I walked in there and I was like, man, I'm gonna manifest greatness by the end of summer. I don't know what that looks like, but greatness is gonna be mine. I didn't know greatness was gonna be a whole person. I didn't know. I was becoming a 3D printer. I was a good girl. Anyway, and so I named her Greatness Elizabeth Rose. So Elizabeth Rose comes from the day I found out they confirmed my pregnancy. I went to sleep that evening and I was entering into this nursery. It was so cool, I like, oh man. And we entered into this nursery and then on the wall, it was written Elizabeth Rose. And Elizabeth actually was covered because when the doctors told me when I was 16 years old that I couldn't have it, I would never give birth to a child. That evening, I prayed and cried out, and I heard something tell me, you will be a mother. And so through my 20s, I did a lot of overachieving, thinking that was what it was. I was going to give birth that way. And so I named her, I put the greatness there, one, because I believe that what you call people, like that's what's gonna be manifested in them. And I always wanted for her to realize the best in herself in all times. But yet also, I want her to be able to get a job. So if she wanted to drop the greatness, she could do that and just use like Elizabeth Rose. Because everyone has an Elizabeth, but everybody, they might not have an Elizabeth, but everybody got like a favorite auntie or grandma Rose. So I told her, you will always have a job because people will be inspired by the greatness part. They think that's so unique, but that Elizabeth Rose is just going to say, because nobody taught me how to name kids, so that's why. That's why I was, and that's great. I love the name great. And I named Tasha because hope. Yeah, hope. Hold on, hope. Who else has a question? Okay, we come to the mic.
Hi, Latoya. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
I was just curious, you touched on it talking about your daughter, but I'm wondering what gave you the guts to start your business? Because a common theme that I've been hearing, especially with female founders, is that they lack the courage within themselves to start up in business for themselves. You did touch, but I'm wondering, besides your daughter, was there anything that you said, let's go for it?
So, first of all, I started making money with 2 Easy Bake Ovens when I was 5. Entrepreneurship for me, however, growing up, that was not the only thing I ever sold. Taxes is truly not the only thing I've ever gotten paid to do on my own. But anytime I ever dabbled in entrepreneurship growing up, I went through a traumatic situation. And so that was the way I would cope instead of acting out. Like I acted out and I was like, money. No, but that's how I, acted out. Like that's what it was. And so it was almost, it's weird, but honestly, I've always had it in me. It's always been around me. My dad has a business, my mom, single mom, you know what I mean? She always worked. She's like me, actually. We can't really work with people. We want to have freedom of time. And so my mom, because she really knew, like, she didn't want to work, she would hustle. She cleaned people's houses, cook. I'll tell you. My mom still needs the money, please. And one time right now, I'm paying for $75. Everybody, the doctors and lawyers, they can't cook. So that's how she makes money. It's always been around me. So I knew that, like, that's the way to do it. But it wasn't until I had my daughter that I got serious about it and started really focusing and saying, these are my top 3 things that I'm going to be in business with. Yeah. That's a good one. Everyone in the back can hear.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you were talking a lot about purpose and your purpose. And it seems like you're faithful. You referenced your faith, it seems. What grounds you in that? And to hear speakers speak so boldly about their faith inspires me. And so oftentimes for me, I see snippets of purpose and then it kind of falls off. Or, you know what I mean, like you're kind of discouraged. What grounds you? We talked about like pushing you, but does that make sense? Maybe what grounds you?
Mm-hmm. So for me, one was being homeless, and I had to get into a realignment of what I believed from childhood before all the trauma. So the biggest thing was I did my healing work. You have to do that. You cannot be successful in business if you don't heal. You can make so much money in the world and still not be happy. So that was the biggest thing, was to heal from the traumas. To also realize, like, I'm really that good and be okay with that. Because sometimes we think that we have to, like, dim our light. We have to lower our standard to make other people comfortable and speak my language. But I think less about it, like, I have some choice words. Don't be nice to your face with why. But when you get to that point in your life, male, female, where you're like, this is what I'm gonna do. I don't wanna do that. This is what I'm gonna do. Okay, I hear you, but this is what, okay, you're not gonna help me, no problem, you're cutting me off, okay, okay, fine, but this is what I'm gonna do. Then, in order for you to actually do it, you have to come out of yourself. So by then, you're gonna find something greater than you. You can call it whatever you wanna call it, but the fact that when you find something greater than you that keeps you grounded and keeps you to the point that you're like, no matter what, as long as I am following and aligning with what I know I'm supposed to be doing or I want to do, then it's all good. Yeah. Who else? What other questions do we have? Yay! That's what I'm talking about. Listen up.
Hey, it's Virginia.
Dang it.
I see published author on the slide behind you. What's your book about?
Okay, so I have 3 independent books, 2 other anthologies that I'm in. So the very first book was called Money Matters Life After Graduation. It's actually 8 chapters of information based on conversations that me and my friends would have like after we graduated college. Like, oh my God, I have to get a job. Oh my God, what's a credit score? You know, so like it just talks about some of the things that I don't think people think about when it's time to graduate. But it also opened up the door for me to bring me into who I am right now. Simply because when people saw the book title, they would say, oh, well, my kid is graduating from college. And I'm like, then they need this book. Or they might say like, oh, well, my kid is coming home from prison. They're graduating now. They need this book. You see what I'm saying? So like having that first book really helped me realize like how to like, you know what I'm saying, let people see like, no, here's why you need me. Second book is a business book, Rise and Grind. So it's really a foundational. So when people come to the firm, they want to work with me and want me to be their business coach. They can't come until they finish chapter 1 through 10 in that book. Because it's so fundamental. Like I don't have time. I'm a genius. Like you come to me when you're ready to execute. You know what I mean? Like not when you still got questions on what the LLC is versus the secret. Go read the book. The third book is an anthology that I produced with 19 other co-authors, including my mother. And it's called The Raw Reality of a Mother's Love. And so each of us just kind of share our journey, some traumas. But that book was really, really fun in a sense of getting able to us as 20 co-authors to really just kind of share our stories. The book doesn't even really give everyone's story justice, but it's cool. And then the other 2 anthologies, one is Releasing the Faith. And so that was another thing I was kind of doing that work. And then the second one is The Miseducation of the House of Money. So those are 5 books that I have. So if you Google, not Google, I'm sorry, Amazon. Oh, another thing.
Yeah. Hey, Kat. Hi, how are you? I love your authentic feelings. I totally relate with that. And that's how much I connect with what you're saying, what you're doing, and being authentic is so important. And it takes a long time to get there, for sure. So I get that. So I want to know what's next for you. Where do you see yourself in the next few years? Where is your business going? And what's next?
So what's next for me? I actually have a second office that I'm opening off of Baltimore. So that'll be where we'll do more of our business development and executive coaching. And we're still going to keep a location on Greenwood. My goal is to have at least 20 fully trained tax professionals working remotely. Increase the number of states. Right now we're in 4. We're in Texas, Mississippi, Georgia, and North Carolina. Just increasing that. And really, within the next 3 years, my goal is to be where my tax firm is just fully functioning, where I can do more speaking and kind of connecting with people and really kind of helping people navigate in their healing work. That's really, I think, where my passions kind of, like you said, it authentically just can come through. So I'm really looking forward to the next 3 years, getting me to a place where I'm not having to be the practitioner, but yet I still have the overrides and the residuals on the work that I'm doing right now, so that financially, by 40, I can be retired with full domestic staff. Speaking into existence and like people, like that when they said have a witness, that's it. A bunch of them. They're gonna hold me accountable. 3 years, they're gonna be like, how far are we to retirement?
What else? What else? I enjoy this.
You said a conversation.
I mean, that's something.
And then, wait, now then I sit down and I said, what's the question? She's like, we just have a conversation.
I think because I have my notes because I want to make sure I get all the points, but I really just want people to be authentic because people can connect when you're authentic, People, like sometimes like you said, we think we have to be somebody else or something else. No, people really, your product or service don't matter if you're selling ice. They're buying you.
Whoa, okay, so now let's talk about that. Because I think once a person realizes, think about it. I've sold Avon, Mary Kay, I've sold body wraps, all that stuff. And the minute I realized people wasn't buying because they believed in the product or they didn't even care if I believed in the product. They were buying because it was me. Kind of goes back to what was it Abby? That was like, people like really register when they saw your name on the who was it? Jane? Yeah, like the registration, like when people saw it was you, like you really like people were coming. That's what's up, like that's good to know, but people are buying you. So again, the minute you just start healing. The minute you start healing and being okay with everything that's happening in your life, everything is right, it's necessary. It's actually the very thing that's going to help your highest paying clients that are coming. Your highest paying ideal clients. They're going to need your healing work, right, to help them get in their healing work because they got all the money in the world, but they haven't had anyone to hold them accountable, right, through just being you. That's me, always and forever. But I have a specialty too. But I have people walk in my office, they look like guns, but they're like multi-million-dollar people. But they need what I'm bringing to the table because I'm true to me. So once you find that out, then it's easy to figure out a product or service to buy, to sell to people. But it's about you. Own you, and then other people will buy from that. Now, beauty gets their attention, but it's the pain. It's the minute that you're okay with telling your story, like she said, that when people can connect to you, that they'll actually be like, okay, now what do you sell? What is your next retreat? When people say, how can I just connect with you? I had one lady call on the phone after seeing the Gayle King interview. And, we were talking for like maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And she was like, you've given me more hope in this conversation than people I paid thousands of dollars. She was like, how can I sow a seed? I said, well, look, if you go to the website, I said, one of the, inexpensive ways, there's a donation part, or you can just do like a little $75 seed or whatever. Y'all, I don't know. She has filled my calendar up. She has filled up the calendar like sporadically, wherever it was available, just to be able to touch base with me. And only reason is because I'm okay with me. I own me. I own my story. I'm not ashamed to talk about anything that's ever happened because I realized that I have to be the person that I needed in my darkest hour. And people can connect more, like you said, with whenever you're overcoming something. Because everybody has struggle. People want to know, can I make it through this stuff? Why should I not give up? Yeah, I'm on the couch right now, but I could be in, owning 3 buildings next month or next year. So that's why it's important for you not to give up. It's important for you to be yourself. It's important for you to stay committed. And it's important for you to, if you know what it is, I don't care if people think it's silly, if you are selling markers, and that's what you feel like you're supposed to do, sell them. Sell them. It's very important. I just really want entrepreneurs, and I thank you so much for sharing with us authentically, because I want people to be encouraged. It's hard to be an entrepreneur. It is. It's challenging. People think we are crazy, and sometimes we are. We are. But then feel like we could be something to somebody.
Yeah, because I said it last week or the week before that I feel that we were all meant to be solutions to a problem. We're all here. I'm not a coding person, but I feel like we're all coded with the solution to a problem. And we have to figure out, okay, what is the solution I will provide and what is the solution I provide, right? So that's it. You start with yourself. So you have to figure out what is the problem that I keep having. And I'm the right, but I keep finding a solution with it too. So maybe you're a person who organizes. The minute you organize your space, you feel better. Then it gets cluttered again. The minute you organize it, you feel better. Somebody needs that solution. Think about what is that one thing that when you get that right, everything else is good. Somebody needs a puppy
Package, now what's a puppy
package.
play? Have you got a puppy package?
She will tell you.
You got service dogs or something? My daughter's leaving to go on vacation on Monday. I'm making the puppy for a couple weeks. Just a couple weeks. Okay. Well, as long as I don't have to walk it.
No, this is the package, it's not a dog.
Oh, it's a
Yeah, she y'all want it to be So, what final words or what final, I mean, you just gave us a lot.
I know, I'm like, you want some more?
I mean, I don't know. Let me ask, while you're thinking about final, what you want to leave us with. Does anybody else have any questions? Well, I want us to rose a hand. And when we reached out to her, she said, I would love to help with this. And I was just like, oh, thank you. Yes, we love having you. Thank you for sharing identity and for just being here. Yeah, can I invite the people? How can they find you? Oh, invite you.
That part?
Yeah. How can people find you? I mean,
Well, I wanted to talk to the live folks in person people first, and then I'll talk to them. So, ladies and gentlemen, I brought some marketing materials. It's a nice bag, okay, a useful bag. If you shop at Aldi like me, hey, save you some money. It actually has a book in there called The Road to Liberty. And so that's a great book if you just want to really get more in depth about the journey for African Americans and Natives. That'll be a great book for you. You can also, if you run out of bags, I have a few more in my car, and Chris will help you grab the rest of those. It's more of y'all in here than was in here earlier. But yeah, if you grab that bag, just take it with you. You know, keep it in your car or something, use it. And the reason it's so important is because one, the first time we had a marketing budget. So now we got a marketing budget with promo. But you guys can find me, Rose Tax Solutions on Instagram, Rose Tax Solutions, Facebook, Rose Tax Solutions. And then I'm Latoya Rose. You can search Amazon.com for the books, or you can go to LatoyaRose.com. That part. Oh, they wanted to know about me. I thought okay, yeah. So LatoyaRose.com has some really great updates and information there. So if you ever want to just find me or connect with me, that's how you can find me. So, but thank you. Thank you. You're awesome. Thank you. Thanks, 36.
yes. Let's clap it up for 36 North. If you are new to 36 Degrees North, if this is your first time coming, if you don't know what we do or you haven't heard, all of our staff members will be very pleased to share more with you. Go to our website, 36n.co. In a normal year, which 2020 was not, we have upwards 400 to 500 events. Thankfully, everything is coming back now since we're no longer in virtual lane. So come join us. Those are free and open to the public. Here you will get the community, you'll get inspiration, you'll get, you might have a chance meeting with somebody, and that might be a co-founder or anything. I also want to say we have party treats other than Latoya's get hers. We also have, let me tell you about this other spot. So this is a, what? Girl, did you see me wear that thing earlier? Did you see it fall out of her? And I still ate it. Okay. So y'all, Little Sam's, the Java Coffee Shop in the Shops of Peoria, Black-owned, amazing place, homemade pastries, so make their own pastries, donuts, twists, long johns, cake. You guys got cake pops today. So there's a card on there. Please make sure you patronize them. They have this amazing turkey sausage. They have a jalapeno with just regular. Then you can get the other sausage. I don't eat other sausage rolls. You want to. You can get it smothered and covered in chili and cheese with some jalapenos, okay? And then wait, I'm gonna just say the last one and I'll let y'all go. They have these nachos. Dr. G knows about the nachos. It's like they're gonna ask you, do you want nacho or Cool Ranch? And they're gonna put the ranch with the cheese and the jalapenos, and then they're gonna file and it will be a tea to go with your nachos. That's all right today. Somebody clap it up today for a $5 meal in Little Sam's in the Shops of Peoria.
So yeah, y'all make sure y'all get a pop, a little cake pop, get a bag. We're not gonna run out. I think I got some more. I know I got some more in my car. So
Thank you guys so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed yourself. And next week is the last week.
yeah,
We will have Guy Troop, excuse me,
Yeah.
Latoya.
yeah.
Guy Troop of the Black Wall Street Liquid Lounge. So I don't know if you've noticed, but every other speaker is a female. We're gonna bring some male energy in this.
And he's actually married to my cousin. Yeah.
Everybody in Tulsa is related.
Not that
In the black community.
Well, and see, that's why we gotta have more communication, so we can get these babies out of being like,
Okay,
the bottom
well, anyway.
heroes of education. And we know the family. So anyway.
You guys have a good night. Thank you for coming.
And that's really, so we're talking about our conference, so